Turning 21 had felt so distant I'd hardly processed what she was saying. She'd left before on her little trips, but she'd never been gone more than a week or two. When she'd pulled me into her arms, I'd hugged her back a little harder than usual, but I hadn't really believed she wouldn't come back. She was the one sure thing I'd always had. But she hadn't come back. And here I was, 21. I snapped the locket closed, nudged it open, snapped it closed again. There was nothing inside but another etching, this one a symbol like an upside-down flame at the heart of a spiraling line. It didn't mean anything to me. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to. Somewhere in the back of my head, I'd had the idea that the second I'd opened the locket, Mom would know. She'd know and she'd come find me. Whatever had been stopping her before, it'd be over. I'd braced myself and popped it open for the first time 12 hours ago, and here I was, still 21, sitting alone in a half-empty bar on a Thursday night. Not alone for long. The bartender set my Bloody Mary down in front of me, and a guy who'd been sitting at one of the tables ambled over. He plopped onto the stool next to mine, called to the bartender for a gin and tonic, and looked me up and down.
"You seem to be a little lonely tonight, sweetheart," he said. His voice sounded as greasy as his hair looked. The armpits of his dress shirt were ringed with sweat stains. "Maybe I can help with that."
Hard pass on that one. "I'm good, actually," I said. "No assistance required." He shuffled a little closer. He smelled like sweat, too. Sweat and the 3 to 4 drinks he'd already downed. Ugh.
"Aw, come on. No harm in a little conversation."
I wouldn't be so sure about that, I thought. The truth was, even if he'd been remotely appealing, I'd have steered clear. Me and guys didn't seem to mix well. I'd had a few hookups over the years, but nothing had gone past second base. As soon as things took a hot and heavy turn, a strange sensation rose up inside me, like claws, digging into my innards, and I'd suddenly feel as if I could rip the guy apart. As if maybe I wanted to. There's nothing like visions of gruesome murder to put a damper on your libido. That wasn't the only time I felt the stirring of those claws inside me. The greasy guy tapped me on the shoulder with a smirk, and a prickle crept up over my ribs. The picture he was presenting snapped together into sudden focus. I could almost taste his bruised ego in its sauce of desperation. "I'm not any more interested than your ex is," I said, and took a sip of my Bloody Mary. "So how about you leave both of us alone?" The guy's face turned sallow.
"Bitch,"
he muttered. He snatched his drink off the counter and stalked away. I swallowed another mouthful of the spicy tomatoey cocktail. The bartender had made sure it packed a good wallop, exactly the way I wanted, enough to wash away most of the discomfort of that encounter. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I pulled it out and smiled when I saw the name on the screen. "Hey, Kylie," I said. "Are you really supposed to be making calls in the middle of your shift?" "I made a deal with my supervisor that I'd cut out early tonight in exchange for an extra long shift tomorrow," my best friend said in her chirpy voice. "Birthday surprise! Where are you, Ren? We need to rock tonight. Hard." I laughed. Maybe this was what I really needed. Mom was long gone, doing whatever had been more important than sticking with her only kid, and of course, no piece of jewelry was going to bring her back. But I didn't need her anymore. I'd gotten through the last 7 years alive, if not completely unscathed, and now Kylie and I had finally scrounged together enough money to put a down payment on an apartment. It was a crappy apartment on a street so seedy there were more weeds than concrete on the sidewalks, but it had 4 walls and a ceiling with no...